I might be eating those words. We'll see. I'm actually quite a picky eater. I'm like really embarrassingly picky. Um, there's a whole food group that I don't like, and I won't. If people really want to know, they can ask me what it is. But
I think I know what
yeah,
it is.
you know what it is. And I brought some in with me, and I put some honey on a bug, and I ate it in front of the kids, and most of them were just like, "Ew!" And I, single-handedly tried to, poison the
Oh
entire
man.
VBS volunteer staff. And I think the coffee was thankfully so bad that not very many folks
They
drunk it,
didn't
but
go well
nobody complained about, indigestion or nobody died.
in front of us. So
So this is what was on the tree.
if so, what were they thinking?
All right.
Cheers here.
Cheers.
Good luck.
Okay. Yeah, me too.
You like spicy,
Yeah,
so
this is like not spicy now. This is just like insane. Most folks know me, in the last few years as this pastor with this weird hair.
well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Hot Seat. Today we have another one of our pastors with us. Today we have Pastor Doug, our children's ministry pastor, and we are excited to go down this journey of hot wings again today. Doug sitting in the hot seat. Doug, glad you're here.
Happy to be
Um,
here.
I hope you're happy by the end of this.
We'll see.
We'll see. This has been a ton of fun just getting to just meet the pastors, to have a little bit of a conversation while we work our way down some hot wings.
Okay.
So let's just tell everyone a little bit about yourself. Doug, what got you into ministry? How'd you get here at RMC?
Well, it's a long story. I don't know how much detail you want. What folks probably don't know is I was an engineer in big tech for about 20 years, working at a big tech company here in Colorado Springs. Um, and my wife, Beth, many people also don't know that she's also part-time staff with me. This position is something we do together. And because I'm the sort of the face of the ministry, sometimes she gets forgotten. So I'm just gonna kind of throw this out there. When we had Josiah on staff with us, a lot of people kind of joke that the kids ministry is led by a guy that looks like he's on The Chosen, a guy that looks like Harry Potter, and some lady named Beth. And it's not fair because Beth does a lot of work, and she's a big reason why I'm here and we're here. She was raised a missionary kid, and she always had a desire to be in ministry. And when we got married, we desired to be in ministry in some capacity from the very beginning, and we explored different routes for that. Um, and long story short, after several years in big tech, I was getting burned out, and we were in the school discipleship at church, and really enjoyed teaching young people the scriptures and just doing life with them, and that's I was just becoming more and more passionate about that, and it was shortly afterwards we graduated that the church asked us to consider coming on staff as the kids ministry leaders, and we accepted, and we've never looked back, and we love it.
Awesome. Well, I know that you are loved around here by staff, by kids. I think it's pretty exciting. Um, an engineer from big tech, like a career field that will never run dry, if you will, it seems, in the day and age we live in. But God had a calling on you, and you answered that call, and God's blessing it here at RMC. So pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's been a fun ride. Definitely been a challenge, going from where I was at to where I'm at now, but that's what the Lord does, is
Yeah.
he surprises people sometimes with not only you know with what they can accomplish when they trust in him and lean on him, but then those around him too, like, oh, I
Yeah.
never thought Doug would be doing that, and I didn't either. So praise the Lord.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, well, Doug, we are here to eat some wings together and just get to know you as we work through some questions.
Okay.
I kind of gave you a heads up of what was going on whenever you got invited to this,
Right.
and you said I like spicy food, so
I do.
we're this is gonna be a fun time together just to see how spicy
Yeah,
we can
right.
go, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna eat. I might eat in those words. We'll see.
Yeah. All right, so let's eat the first one. It's just a normal buffalo hot sauce, and then we'll keep going on the questions. So
Okay, that's pretty good. I like these ones that you can fold like this. They're the best.
they are.
You know.
Those ones are nice and meaty too. So
Mm.
so again, a normal sauce. Not too bad to start. So first question is, we're here eating wings and hot ones at that.
Mm.
Uh, what is the weirdest and most adventurous food you have ever tried?
Yeah, when you threw that question at me earlier today, I was like, I know I've eaten some weird stuff, but I couldn't think of anything really funny or really good stories. I think the one thing I will share is, um, folks probably don't know, is I'm actually quite a picky eater. I'm like really embarrassingly picky. Um, there's a whole food group that I don't like, and I won't, if people really want to know, they can ask me what it is. But
I think I know what
yeah,
it
you
is.
know what it is. And but yeah, I have had some weird foods though. I think maybe the one that I'll share here is when we were teaching the kids through the Gospel of Luke a few years ago. We got to the story of John the Baptist, and the Bible talks about how he eats like bugs, crickets or something. I can't remember which kind of bug it is, but I was like, wouldn't it be fun to bring in, some crickets to share with the kids? And they never had crickets before, but I found on Amazon you could just buy these packages of like crickets. So I brought them in, and I introduced the lesson as this character John the Baptist. We're going to learn about this guy who the Bible talks about how he eats bugs and honey. And I brought some in with me, and I put some honey on a bug, and I ate it in front of the kids, and most of them were just like, ew, and it was just salty, and it was okay, um, but then I had a few volunteer kids come up, and it was pretty fun. So that's probably one of the most bizarre things I've eaten, uh, was was some sort of, cricket snack.
And so my question is, was it listed as an edible snack? Is that how you ordered it?
Yeah, it was, uh, but I don't even remember which. It was some international thing.
Okay.
It was weird, but it came in a pack, and there was actually different flavors. Like you could get, spicy or sweet and sour. I don't remember, but
Spicy
yeah, I
crickets.
don't. I think I got the one that was the most tame. So,
Okay.
but yeah, they were real bugs.
Well,
Yeah,
that is pretty interesting. It's pretty cool you got the kids involved in
yeah,
that
it was
also.
fun. It was a fun lesson.
Yeah. All right, so our second wing here. Um, again, moving down the line. This one is it's a smoky jalapeno sauce. So
Okay. Yep, I taste the smoky.
yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, I love jalapeno. Yeah, that was good.
Good. Glad you're enjoying it. So, if you could pick one biblical event to witness in person, what would it be and why?
That's such a hard question because I want to see so many.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. Like, I mean, everybody would want to see the resurrection. Everybody would want to see, you know, the God parting the Red Sea. Everybody would want to see, um, you know, Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Just so as I was thinking, I think for this, I'd like to mention something a little more, unique, maybe something you wouldn't hear in this kind of interview. And what came to my mind was, in Mark chapter 10, there is a famous passage, and it's actually really key passage for our kids ministry here at RMC, where the people brought children to Jesus, and the disciples, were shooing the kids away. And when Jesus, it says Jesus was indignant. It's one of the few times where Jesus was actually upset in
Yeah.
the scriptures. And he told the disciples, no, let the children come to me. To see Jesus, receiving kids, and to see the shock on the faces of the disciples when Jesus was just turning the tables, the cultural norms, children were pretty, low on the totem pole back in that day, and to see Jesus turn that upside down, um, I'd love to see what that looked like,
Yeah.
and to see how Jesus cared for the kids, and to see, just to see Jesus elevate kids like that, and to just shock the grown-ups.
Yeah.
Um, but that I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'd love to see a miracle. I'd love to see Jesus walk on the water, calming the storm. Elijah bringing down fire, all that stuff. But I think if I had to pick, something that would just really touch my heart, it would be just seeing how Jesus treated children.
Yeah.
And that passage really captures it well.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. Perfect children's ministry
Yeah,
pastor
right.
answer, right? So, all right. So let's keep moving here. This one is a Funky's Hot Sauce Factory, a Stellar Fuzz.
Funky's hot sauce. So
Yeah.
it's gonna get a little bit hotter, I'm guessing.
You know, not too bad here on number 3, but all right. So if you weren't a pastor, what do you think you'd be doing? I know you said you came from the engineer world, but
Hmm.
is that what you think you'd be doing, or?
Well, that's kind of I can answer that two different ways. I think if I'd never become a pastor, probably I'd
Yeah.
just be continuing in that engineering career. Um, but I'd be a lot less happy. Um, but I think some other things that I've thought about, especially when these last few years, just the joy I've received in working with young people, is maybe teaching, school, teaching piano. I love playing the piano. It's one of my favorite things to do. I taught my kids how to play piano, and
Hmm.
my kids are teaching kids also. Um, and maybe even like driving a school bus. I think it'd be just fun to like be, just in a school bus relationship with kids. I remember when I was a kid, some of my school bus drivers, and they were just, nice folks that, I got to say hi to and high five,
Yeah.
a few times a week. And so those are a few things that I think would be rewarding, even if not as a pastor, but just as in retirement,
Yeah.
as I get older. We'll see.
Pretty awesome how God changes our perspective from the engineering world, and God
Yeah,
just blossomed and bloomed your heart for kids,
yeah,
and
for you.
how you can just pour into them. So awesome. All right. Number 4 here is called Los Calientes. So on the heat on
Hot,
the
right?
on the
Isn't that hot and
on the
humid?
heat level, it says it's a 5 of 10. So, halfway there. All right. So all the fun you get to have as a children's ministry pastor.
Mm-hmm.
What is the most embarrassing moment for you at
Oh,
church?
this is, there's been so many. But the one that sticks out, I mean, maybe you haven't heard about this, but um, I think it was 2, maybe 3 years ago at VBS. VBS is a huge production. We expect 600-ish kids, and we have 200-ish volunteers. We have close to 1,000 folks, coming every day for a week. And it's just a lot to, um, you know, host,
Yeah.
right? And we work on VBS preparation for months, but then Monday morning is, like, when the rubber meets the road, right? Where we have to be ready to go. We're expecting these kids, all our planning, all it comes together, and it's kind of a nervous, stressful time because you're like wondering, are the volunteers going to show? Um, did we forget some detail that's going to make, make the VBS not work, or we're going to have traffic jams in the hallways where kids are, whatever, just so many things that could go wrong, and the Lord always makes it awesome. But um, one VBS, I got here at church probably like 6:30 to try and get the building ready, make sure the decorations are good, and turn on lights, and the Monday the church is closed, so there's nobody else here. And we had a whole bunch of volunteers that were coming. The volunteers, we meet with them, and we usually provide some snacks for them just beforehand, because some of them have to get here quite early. Excuse me. So we give them donuts, and I talked to our cafe staff about how to make coffee. So I went over to the well and started a pot of coffee, and I just started it, pushed the buttons, followed the instructions, and then went off and was working on other things. And then I come back like 5, 10 minutes later, and the coffee is like overflowing all over the floor. The carafe was, I didn't know I didn't know what was wrong. I, I was kind of set and forget. I set the buttons, left, came back, and it was just a mess. And it was funny. Josiah had just shown up at that moment, and he's like, "Hey, I think it was his first VBS," and he's like, "What should I do? Clean that mess." So he's cleaning the mess, and then I'm starting to work on another one, still in a rush, and not having time to problem solve what happened. Um, so I found another craft that was there, and I realized, oh, there was some fluid in this carafe. So I just emptied out the fluid, and I started another one, and that one, it filled and it was fine. But then I served that coffee to our volunteers later, and it tasted awful, they all said. But here's what happened is what I didn't know is the night before, the well folks, what they do to clean those carafes is they put cleaner inside of them.
Yeah.
And they were soaking in cleaner. And I, single-handedly tried to, poison the entire
Oh man.
VBS volunteer staff. And I think the coffee was thankfully so bad that not very many folks
They
drank it,
didn't
but
go back.
nobody complained about, indigestion, or nobody died. So,
Yeah, well, good.
but I think after that, there was a new rule that no pastors were allowed to make coffee. So,
Uh, maybe a good thing. I don't
yeah,
know.
that was pretty embarrassing.
Well, thankfully everyone survived
Yeah,
VBS.
I haven't not made coffee since, I promise
Okay.
you. Yeah.
Well, I know to watch for who's making it now. All right, so our next sauce is so we had Verde Los Calientes green, and now we have Rojo red Los Calientes. So
Okay.
let's try this one. See if color makes a difference.
All right.
Yeah, nice. That one's not bad either. Some of these creep up on you though, so we'll see. All right, so what would your dream vacation be with no budget?
Hmm. Dream vacation. Um, my wife and I have dreamed about taking a cruise all around the world, where we would stop at, like, all over, all these nations that, we probably wouldn't get to visit otherwise. Um, and maybe we'd start in like California, and then we'd, cruise across the Pacific, stop in Hawaii. We have been to Hawaii, but then, just so we're not at sea forever, but,
Yeah.
stop at places in some of the South Seas islands like Tonga and Samoa, and um, spend some time in New Zealand and Australia, and then make our way up to, Thailand and Papua New Guinea, and, some of the Southeast Asian countries, and they make our way around India, and, that would just be and just to see the world, it would take months.
Yeah.
Um, but to do it just with her um, and to have just be able to experience all those different cultures and foods, um, that would be I think a dream vacation for both of us. Uh, we love traveling and
Yeah.
we love seeing different parts of the world, um, and that would be kind of like just a easy, cozy, and romantic way of seeing you know places we wouldn't get to see otherwise.
Yeah. Awesome. So
So
sounds fun.
yeah,
All right. So this next one, how you feeling?
feeling all right. I can definitely feel some tingling in my mouth.
Starting
Yeah, in
to
fact, I think I'll take a little
starting to
drink
turn
of the
up the heat
water.
just a little. All right. Well, this next one is a Maple Reaper hot sauce. It says that it is intensely spicy.
Okay.
Uh,
Reaper, like the Grim Reaper.
like a Reaper pepper.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is we're starting to get there, Doug. So
All right,
this
let's
this is
let's do it.
this is number 6. All right.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm starting to feel the heat on that one a
Yeah,
little bit.
definitely.
So what is the best piece of advice that you've been given in ministry?
Best piece of advice. Um, I think the best piece of advice I've gotten from multiple folks is to be humble and be teachable always. The I don't know, just to be in a ministry, it's so easy to let your pride run away with just run you into a brick wall.
Yeah.
Um, and to be to because I know I'm a naturally proud person. I think most of us are. But to pursue humility and to always maintain this attitude of, you know what, I always have something more I can learn. To be teachable.
Yeah.
It helps even, in the highs and the lows. Because when you got those highs, those ministry highs, you remember, okay, it's not, you know, I'm so great, it's all about me. It's thank you, Lord, for empowering me. Thank you, Lord, for just blessing the work of our hands. And in the lows, it's instead of woe is me, it's just a very self-centered response. It's humility and teachability helps you remember, okay, what can I learn
Yeah.
from this? Help me learn from these mistakes. Uh, how can I grow through this? So I think, it's kind of very, very basic, but still at the same time, so it requires intentionality to pursue
Yeah.
because of how naturally proud we are. It's just, as fallen human beings.
Yeah.
And I think men especially, can be really, really, really proud.
Yeah. I think too in ministry is depending on what position in ministry. Some of them are more out front. So that humility is so important because people do like to come up to you and say, "Oh, that was such a great teaching and a great message," or like just the great gratitude that they show at times. It's kind of get you to stand up a little bit taller, and it's important to remember that humility of, man, I'm only here by the grace of God.
Yeah,
So
right.
yeah,
Yeah, there's a verse in Corinthians that I like to remind myself that I think it's First Corinthians 4, where Paul, he's sort of talking to the Corinthians about how, spiteful and divisive and proud they've been. And he says, um, what do you have that you did not receive? And if you received it, why do you boast if you did not, as if you did not receive it? He's just kind of saying, hey, everything that you guys are experiencing that's good, God's given it to you,
yeah,
and making sure you're giving Him the glory. So I think that's it's not something advice I follow as well as I'd like, but it's something that especially as I comb through the scriptures, every single biblical character that practiced humility did well, and every single one that did not
yeah.
do well.
Yeah.
So it's
Good,
just
good
so
advice
awesome.
for sure.
Yeah.
Humility and teachability. All right. We're moving on to the next one. How you feeling
My
over there?
lips are tingling.
All right,
Yeah.
you're starting to feel it.
Yeah.
Well, Doug, to just give you the name of this next one, it's called the forbidden fruit.
Oh yeah.
So this, I think this is where you really start to feel it in this lineup here is
Okay.
this one. The times that I've done this with Billy, he says, "Man, we should have learned about the forbidden fruit," but here here it is in front of us. So
So this is what was on the tree.
if so, what were they
Yeah.
thinking?
All right.
I think the thing with this one is those first bites, you're like, that's not too bad. But then as you sit in it,
Mm-hmm.
it starts to creep in there a little bit. So, so it doesn't sound like you wanted to be a pastor when you were little. It's not really something on your mind. So, what did you want to be when you grew up?
What I really wanted to do, um, when was in high school, I had a friend that brought me out to Colorado to ski. So his family came out here on a spring break trip, and he invited me to come with him, and I fell in love with Colorado.
Okay.
So I think what I wanted to do when I grew up was live in Colorado.
Look at that.
And
Look, it's
and I
happened.
found a job out here, and yeah, the funny thing is, I really moved out here because I wanted to ski, and I met Beth, and she loved skiing, and we really fell in love over skiing. Um, you know, we started dating in the fall, and we found out we both love skiing, and then we had all these months before we could actually do it. We were kind of talking like, who's better? I'm not sure. And then when we finally went together, we like raced to the bottom. It was really fun.
Oh,
So I won't
oh.
say who won. If you're curious, you can ask me or Beth, and they'll tell you.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Doug. So number 8 here is I told you earlier, this is where it gets real. Like, I don't know how you're feeling now. I can feel the heat from number 7.
Yeah, I feel it.
But number 8 is called the bomb. And
The bomb.
I told you, like it's like an explosion goes off in your mouth on this one.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be curious how you feel after we get into this one here. So
Okay.
let's do a little cheers here. Good luck.
Okay. Yeah, me too. No, I feel it.
Yeah,
Mhm. Oh,
start. It starts to make my nose run a little bit. I think my head is probably turning red. I can feel the heat starting to exhaust out of my head on that one.
yeah. My mouth's definitely burning.
Well, this is the perfect time for what we call rapid fire. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. It's kind of an either or.
Mhm.
Whew. Yeah. So, are you a morning run or a late night walk?
So that's hard because I'd much rather walk than run, but I'm a morning person. So
Okay.
I'd rather do a morning walk.
Okay.
But
Gonna mix that one up.
yeah, I probably if I had to pick between those two, I do evening walk.
Okay.
I'd rather walk than run.
And then how about coffee or tea?
Um, in the morning, I prefer coffee. In the afternoon, I prefer tea.
All right, so kind of a both
Yeah,
there.
I drink them both. I love them both.
All right. And
Love
then
tea.
oh man. Favorite pizza topping?
Favorite pizza topping. Um, I'm gonna go with mushrooms. I
Ooh,
love mushrooms on pizza.
so you are a fun guy.
I love them. I mean, I like ham and mushroom. I think that's like the best pizza combo right there.
I am not a mushroom person. It's the texture for me that I just,
Oh yeah. So I don't like love mushrooms just, you know, raw or in salad. I like them on pizza.
okay.
I like them on hamburgers, but I really love them on pizza.
Yeah. And how about reading a book or listening to a podcast?
Probably reading a book. I do both, but I probably spend more time in a book than I do on a podcast.
Okay. And then beach vacation or a mountain retreat?
Mm, that's hard. I think if I didn't live in Colorado, I'd pick mountain retreat. But since you sort of have mountains out our back door, I'd pick beach vacation because you just don't get much beach anything here. You have to go a long way to get beach experience.
Yeah. The beach is okay for me. Even living in Colorado, I just love the mountains.
Yeah.
So spending time in the mountains. How you feeling?
I'm feeling all right, but it's pretty hot in Minnesota now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you like spicy,
Yeah,
so
this is like not spicy now. This is just like insane.
yeah, that's it. When does it go from not being
Yeah,
spicy to just like what's going on?
yeah.
All right, so this next one, it's called Matasonos. It's got a monkey with a top hat on it, so might be going along those lines of insane for you. So,
Okay. Well, as long as you're doing it with me, I'll do it.
oh, I'm still in here with
All
you.
right.
So, what is a surprising fact about Doug that most people don't know?
Surprising fact. Actually, I had a good one for this. What was it? My brain's been jolted by
I
the
I have
holidays.
noticed in doing these, you start to get down the line here, and you get to number 8, and it's like I start to lose track of my
Yeah.
thoughts and what was on my mind. So,
I love playing the piano. Um, One of my favorite things to do after you know, a big weekend in kids ministry, excuse me, is to go home and pound on the piano. And just that's my way of resting.
okay,
Um, I really enjoy biking, mountain biking, and road biking. In fact, there's a guy at church that talked me into cycling up Pikes Peak last year. I couldn't believe, I
wow,
agreed to it, and I made it, but I had to take several breaks because it was pretty rough go. But that was pretty cool to start it down in Woodland Park or south of Woodland Park in like I think it's called Cristola or
yeah,
right at the bottom of the highway and bike all the way up to the top. It was brutal.
that
Um,
sounds brutal. I'm not sure how that I would find that enjoying, but
yeah, I don't know if I enjoyed coming down.
yeah. How's your mouth doing?
I mean, it's okay. It's not great, but
It's really not great. It's on the front of my tongue, especially that number 9 is got me going.
yeah.
So, all right, well, we're gonna do the last sauce here, and then we'll ask the last question.
Okay.
This one is called the last dab. So we do something kind of fun with this one. It's over 91% pepper X. Says, welcome to the experience spice Lords, the most extreme version of the last dab sauce we've ever made. The main ingredient, Smokin' Ed Curry's Pepper X, is officially the world's hottest chili.
Wow.
And it says, and we've pushed it to the max. Add a dab to your favorite
A
foods and
dab.
and live the tradition. So again, there is a measure to how hot things are. This is getting up there. This is getting almost to 3 million. But what we do with this one is, again, it's called the last dab. So it says add a
Oh,
dab.
so these aren't.
No, they are,
Oh,
but we dab just a little bit
oh, I
more.
see. Okay.
Just and whatever you think a dab is, but definitely
There we go. That's a dab.
definitely definitely a dab. So
Oh, I just remembered something that might be surprising.
okay,
Mind if we go back?
no,
Uh,
no,
I thought it'd be fun to share that. Most folks know me, in the last few years as this pastor with this weird hair. And the truth is that for most of my life, pre-COVID, actually, I just had a little bit more hair than you,
oh,
and I had very short hair, and it was COVID that you know just being alone at home and not being out in public, I just decided to grow my hair out, and my wife liked it. And then I think I was 44 years old, and my daughter, she had this really funny comment where she said, "Pops, it only took you 44 years, but now you look kind of cool." So I have not had hair like this, you know, for most of my life. It's just since COVID.
Well,
That might surprise folks.
I don't have the option. That's not even an option for me. So I'm proud of that head of hair you got. You should be proud too. All right, number
There
10.
we do. Let's do it. Let's just get it over with.
All right, let's get it over with. You're going all in on that one.
Finish it.
I might not have sauced that one enough if you can eat the whole thing.
Gosh.
Still doing good?
Doing all right.
All right. It went from good to all right.
Yep.
Hanging in there though.
Hanging in there.
All right. Well, we try and have fun as we do this. This last one is what is your favorite verse?
Gosh, that's a hard one. My favorite verse is like changes, I think, all the time. I don't have like one verse that is my go-to verse. Um, I was kind of thinking of some verses. I was like, well, um, I love a lot of things that Jesus says. I love a lot of things that Paul says. Um, I think my favorite book of the Bible, though, is the Psalms. So I decided to pick a verse from Psalms that
All right.
and I love the Psalms because of just how raw and real they are. How just you get into every emotion, every life experience seems to be reflected somewhere in the Psalms. Where
Yeah.
people that are going through hard times, there's a psalm for everybody, no matter what situation they're in. And I think, and I love that they're music because I love music and that they were sung. But one psalm verse that um, has been just a go-to for me for a long time is Psalm 63 verse 8, and at the psalm, I think it's a Psalm of David, when he says, "My soul clings to you, your right hand upholds me." It's very simple, but I just have this vision of David saying, "I cling to you, Lord, in the good times and in the bad times, and all the while your right hand is upholding me." And sometimes I'll just recite that verse when I'm going into a situation that I'm nervous about, or I don't really want to do it, but I know I should do it.
Yeah.
And Lord, I know this is what you want me to do, but I need your help.
Yeah.
And it's just a go-to um, reminder that God's got my back.
Yeah.
And also I need him. Not just he has my get back, but if he's not there, then I got nothing.
Well, I think that is a perfect verse. I was going to say a 30 to 60-second sermon on that verse. I think you gave it. I think it's fitting for man, we need the Lord in everything we do, and sometimes and especially in the difficult seasons.
Yeah.
These wings, we're here at the end, and my mouth is on fire. It's on fire,
This
Doug.
milk helps.
It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say thanks for all that you do here at RMC. Thanks for being a good sport. I hope your mouth is on fire as mine is. I can hardly get the words out. I'm kind of stumbling over them, sitting here burning. But it was great getting to spend some time with you today, sharing in some wings, a meal, just getting to everyone get to know you a little bit better. So
thanks for the opportunity and for the invitation. It was a lot of fun.
You got it.
All right.
Awesome, Doug. Well, guys, thank you for joining us again for another episode of Hot Seat. Looking forward to just the next couple as we have a couple more pastors to get through. Hope you enjoyed it. See you at the next time.